Standard Gains Podcast, episode 0, take 1.
Here we go. We have 0 subscribers as of right now, 0 viewers. Because this is episode 0. And why are we here? Who's this stranger? I have no clue who you are.
That's a very good question. And we're super excited to launch the Standard Gains podcast. My name is Bob van Boel. I'm here with a stranger who became my friend, and we'll speak about this here, Stan Brownie. And what is this podcast about?
What's going to be? Why should you listen or watch this? If you're listening to this, we also have we're doing video here as well. We put a lot of effort into this set, so make sure to check that out.
For sure.
But if you're listening, that's already much appreciated. That's crazy. But this is going to be about standard gains, obviously, in every single aspect of life, which sounds very broad, but it's going to be about, productivity, health, and also finance. And I think those are the most booming topics as of right now.
Definitely.
Which everyone is interested. Everyone is interested in bettering themselves in every single way possible, especially during these times.
Exactly.
And that's gains. That's standard gains.
And it's about that, but it's also about, because you, Stan, of course, people will know you or might know you from your YouTube. We have this cool thing about here because you hit 1 million subscribers.
Yes.
So there's also a lot of people with questions about, how do you actually achieve that without running ads? I mean, there's people who run ads to grow their social media and YouTube. You did it organically. How to do that, how to monetize, how to get gains on social media.
Basically, yeah.
And so that's basically where, of course, your expertise also comes in, which is definitely part of this podcast as well.
So that's why I'm here. But I'm here not the, so you're going to listen to me, but I'm not the 21-year-old telling you what to do. I can give you some tips, and we're also still learning. I'm still learning a lot. But I'm here with someone that could be called, the mentor of the mentors. At least that's how I see him. Big
cool.
Bob. Bob from you. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I was actually called Don Bob for a little while. Within a certain niche. People might know me not because of 1 million subscribers, but because I had some mentees, some students in the past that have become pretty famous. If you're into photography, you might know Visuals of Julius, who is a really good photographer, super good on Photoshop, and he actually even takes over the Photoshop account every now and then.
That's
they
crazy.
just ask him, which is really crazy. Or if you're more into the digital marketing space, you might know Iman Gadji, who was actually my first student ever, who is now pretty big when it comes to digital marketing, I would say.
He's one of the, because that he just named I have 1 million subscribers. Maybe me from big videos or whatever. This guy is not as big as me as a name, but it depends on which niche. Because if you go look at a certain niche, this guy that's why it was called Don Bob. But I do want to give a disclaimer. He is not the mentor or whatever you expect from someone that mentors people and this is how you make money. Buy my course for $2,000. No. You don't even have a course, right?
I don't have a course, and I think that's also a cool little thing about this podcast. You're 21, I'm 35. It's a difference.
It's a big difference.
It's a big difference, and I get so annoyed by people on social media who try and get money out of people like you, or at least your age, with. Don't get me wrong, there's great courses, there's great coaches, there's definitely. But there's so many people who make their money just by coaching, and then they pretend to have all this money, and you can learn how to make this money too. Look at how much money I have, just buy my course. And they can't even do anything. And that's why I always said I won't do a course. I'm making my money off my businesses, and then I coach and help people because I enjoy doing it and try and get away from all that bullshit.
Because to get a clear point, we have somewhat of an introduction right now. You know me. Might know from me from YouTube, some push-up videos, and growing on YouTube. That's also why I'm here. I love the YouTube algorithm. I love it. I have a love-hate relationship with it, but I love knowing everything about it. So I'm always on top of that, and also just everything online. Also trying to keep up mentally with everything that's going on online. It's moving fast. Sometimes it feels like you're just slacking. You're behind. And you're just lost. And sometimes it feels like you're on a high. Everything is going great. Everything is going amazing. And how to deal with everything. And I think that could be a big point there. And for Bob, like I said, he is in the niche that is productivity. that's where I'm also still trying to learn a lot, because I am here in the studio that some of you might know. I'm in a studio that I bought because of YouTube. That I was able to buy it because of YouTube, which is crazy.
Definitely, yeah.
But I'm here from like 9 a.m. till 11 p.m.
Which is not good, man. Which is not good.
It is a little too busy, but I'm trying to do a lot of stuff together, as well as the podcast. But this is just so much fun, and I think he's here for the other parts. Like, we just make a good team. Like,
I think so.
The productivity, the mindset as well, which I'm still learning a lot. But then the online stuff, YouTube, and also
exactly where you really come in.
Yeah, and we both in the financial situation, financially independent stuff like that. That I think we can have a lot of value here and still learn as a big community.
Speaking of community, sometimes we'll actually have guests on this podcast. And as you can see right now, we actually have Arjen here. As you probably know, as the guy in the blue shirt. So
yeah, you may know me as the push-up guy from Brownie, because I do a lot of push-ups.
Basically, yeah. So we can have an entire podcast with Arjen here, because there's a lot of interesting stuff.
Which we probably will someday.
We will definitely. We will definitely. And if you have some more ideas or suggestions for guests, let us definitely know, like somewhere,
wherever you're
watching or listening. But Arjen is here because, well, I'm doing something epic on my channel. What we're also going to do here on this channel, or if you're listening on YouTube and watching on YouTube, if not, definitely subscribe, because what we're doing on my channel is I started this in February. I'm doing this for the entire year of 2021, and every subscriber is worth 20 liters of clean drinking water. I'm donating this, and this is really cool for two reasons. One, because it is epic to give back with a really big community, and two, it is a really good incentive to subscribe. So it is I wouldn't call it a marketing trick, but it works really well.
Exactly.
And it has a really good purpose. So it's just a win-win.
And as you said, giving back to community is just very important.
Exactly. And so in February here, we gained 88.7 thousand subscribers, which equals, well, 20 liters of clean drinking water, over 1.7 million liters of clean drinking water, which is quite a lot. And we're going to donate that to Made Blue. But Arjen studies
Future Planet Studies. Yeah, I study Future Planet Studies, and Future Planet Studies about being the bridge between science and society, about complex topics like climate change, food security, but also wealth distribution, and as well clean drinking water. Availability of clean drinking water.
And that is exactly why he is here right now.
Yeah, exactly. So the problem with development aid most of the times is that you treat the symptom but not the real cause of the problem. So for example, giving a painkiller for a broken bone but not fixing the broken bone.
Yeah.
And in the case of clean drinking water, you give water to people who need them, and then they have water for one day, and the next day they have the same problem again.
Yeah.
So that's basically the problem with a lot of charity stuff and donations.
So I set this up, and I thought, oh, that's really fun to donate water, 20 liters of clean drinking water. And then Arjen was like, Arjen's study is super interesting, so we will definitely go more in depth in that future episodes. But Arjen just, did this.
Yeah, so it's about a structural solution for the problem. And Made Blue is really amazing, not because of the name, I like blue, but it's focused on those structural solutions. So when it comes to clean drinking water, they don't give just clean drinking water, but they make pipelines, they make water reserves, and also wells as well.
wells as well.
So that's really cool.
And that's exactly what you want, because you're like looking at the source and fixing that, rather than just giving like, hey, here you go with some water, and after that you will have to find out yourself, basically.
And it's just a great thing because it's such a huge problem. Like 785 million people still don't have access to clean drinking water. That's a lot. So it's really cool to do this.
I knew it was a big problem, and it kind of fits with the brand I build, Drink Your Water. I always say that. And I found Made Blue, and it looked really good. But I was just thinking like, all right, this is helping to a really big problem. But yeah, it's not fixing it. But now it is. Through
exactly.
He also researched Made Blue for this entire project.
And to give some credit to Made Blue, they're working together with an organization called Flying Doctors, and that's a pretty famous organization, well known. So it's a legit organization.
And they're really
it,
solving a big problem.
And it focuses on countries like Ethiopia, Nigeria, but also India. That's a big one as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that's that's epic.
So yeah, and I think maybe important to say this is not to plug Made Blue. This is actually to show that we want to give back to the community. And if the value we're providing in the podcast is not enough for you to subscribe on YouTube, this should be.
Yes, definitely. Go check out YouTube if you're not on YouTube yet. We put a lot of effort into the recording as well. There's a camera guy behind the camera as well, putting in a lot of work. So to actually, if you're a creator yourself, I would definitely recommend checking something out like this as well, because you're giving back, which is really, really cool. And it is a really good marketing way. So you're actually growing your channel. So it is a win-win, a purely win-win, actually.
Exactly. And I think on that bombshell, we'll go back into the podcast.
Which is really epic. Watch the entire podcast. Listen.
Well, I think the cool thing about, because people sometimes ask me, okay, so why do you mentor people? Why do you coach people? And I think the cool thing is, yes, I might be older than the people I coach, but you learn from each other, right? I wouldn't have been in this online world and, having the social media and having this podcast if I wouldn't be working with younger people who show me, hey, this is how we do things these days. When I started my first business 20 years ago, it was
20 years ago.
Yeah, creating websites from scratch, right? No WordPress and those things, just coding. Everything was so different. And I think, and that's also what I really enjoy about all of these things. If I look at my friends, who are my age, they have no clue about all these things.
Yes.
Sure, they might see, some of them have Instagram and Facebook, a lot of them don't because they don't like it. So it's so cool learning also from younger people. And I think that's what's cool for no matter what age you are when you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube. I think there's something in this for everyone. And I think that's the goal. Gains for everyone, basically.
So you kind of know who we are now, why you should maybe watch or why not. Maybe you clicked off already. That makes no sense because then you would not be listening right now. But the stranger part, because not too long ago, you were definitely a stranger for me.
Definitely,
But you messaged me.
Yeah, so I don't really remember why I started following you. Obviously, I was into calisthenics. You were known for calisthenics.
That's how you started as well.
That's how
online.
I started. Yeah, that's how I started.
How long ago was that?
For like 4 or 5 years ago.
Then you started an Instagram account with
actually, because a friend of mine was the founder of Calisthenics Netherlands. And I thought, you know what, I'm doing calisthenics. I'll see if I can promote the sport a bit as well. That's actually how it started.
That's cool. So we're both kind of in the same niche back then as well already.
Exactly.
Kind of, yeah.
And so I think that's why I followed you. And then I remember that I was in the subway in London because I used to live in London and here. And you asked, does anyone know any photographer in London in your story?
Yeah, for the company Forge London.
For Forge London. And a friend of mine over there, Reed, so I connected you to him and then we started speaking. And a few months later, we met up near here to try and do a workout.
Exactly, because that's what I remember. I remember the message where Bob asked me like, "Hey, you should work out together, get a workout in, and just talk some stuff." Just because that's what what I find interesting about this guy. There was no particular anything behind it. It was more just meeting up, socializing, and at the end, like learning from each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this guy always provides a lot of value in every single conversation, so that's going to be interesting. But also, you want to learn. You really ask like the questions that you want to know. You're interested in certain things, and it can be literally anything. So that's really fun.
And it's funny. A while back, and that's a question we actually have on this podcast quite often. Is like, what's your superpower?
That's going to be
It's going to be one of the questions that we'll ask guests and each other later on.
What's your superpower?
Yeah, so without giving too much away for me, it's like I really believe in connecting people and getting to know people. So I knew that, hey, meeting up with you, who knows, might be a cool connection, might be, you can always learn. And that's what I really enjoy. If people are genuine and they also want to provide value, then I'd love meeting up. If someone is saying, give me your money and I'll make you rich, then I probably won't meet up because that's not the mindset I like. But I think that's why we started meeting up, and I don't think we ever had a proper workout though.
We have never had a proper workout together, simply because every time we end up talking, and it is very interesting most of the time. Actually, I think every single time. But yeah, we haven't had a proper workout. So maybe after this podcast, the first one.
After the first, we'll try.
We'll try. What happened after that is we talked about doing this as a masterclass or mastermind.
Yeah.
And we're talking about what we want to talk on the podcast about, and we wanted to put that into a mastermind, and people could come there and just ask questions as well, and we would just do some sort of presentation and talk about the YouTube stuff, the online stuff, the financial stuff, the productivity stuff, the health stuff, and we would combine our forces basically and do that. Then the virus hit, and now we were sort of stuck with the idea, but Bob also had the idea to start a podcast.
Yep.
I had the idea of maybe buying a studio. It was not happening. Like, we made this. This was fast.
Super fast, yeah.
We're now here. That's crazy. But we had the idea of sort of both a podcast. And then we were like, wait, let's just combine it. But
Exactly.
there is some stuff in the middle there, which is very important to me, is that we met up a few times for the masterminds and had lots of great ideas. We actually already made a landing page.
Yeah, we did.
That you guys could go to and sign up. But to me, what stuck around the most is the conversations, and that's why I'm all in with this guy. I started YouTube, and I was making videos. We will talk about my Ford journey on this podcast soon, but otherwise this is going to be an insanely long episode.
Yep.
But I started YouTube. I was making videos, and I was just, I was having fun. And then I was young, and at a certain point, I just had to make money because of my parents. My parents wanted me to make money because everyone around my age was making some money with a side hustle, so just a normal job, and I had to make some money, and I didn't make any money for like years on YouTube. And at a certain point, I was 16 years old, and I started finally making a few $100, and my parents were like, all right, you can continue doing that. But years later, that's when I met this guy. I was still not doing insanely well on YouTube. It was all right. I was selling a bit of stuff on the side, but it was not sufficient enough. And I was long-term, I didn't really care, but my parents cared, which is good, obviously. But I was just having fun, and I was enjoying. I love creating. And then I had a different mindset because my parents were really like, yo, you need to start making some money.
Yeah.
And I told this guy, like, yo, I need to make more money. Maybe you could help or just some tips or whatever. And you asked me for my why. And my why at that moment was, do you remember it? Or
No, I don't. I don't remember this conversation.
My why for that was, I need to make money because my parents want me to.
Yeah.
So
Which is not a good why.
Which is not a good why.
That's
Definitely
not a good why.
not a good why.
Yeah.
And he just shifted my mindset, and that's just a one key moment. But he just explained me in detail why, and why is not a great mindset.
Well, here's the thing, right? I think in whatever you do in life, whether it's sports, whether it's business or anything, you have to realize why you want to do something. From calisthenics, from doing sports, lots of people, there's days that it sucks, right? There's days that you don't want to go. There's days that in business, for sure, all the bullshit you see in social media, trust me, no business goes up in a straight line and you don't become successful in a month. So there's ups and downs. And if you don't know why you're doing it, in a moment of down, it's very easy to let go, to stop. And there's so many people who just jump from one thing to the other, right? They see, drop shipping is great, let's do drop shipping. And then after 2 months, they're not rich because they think they should be because of the boost on social media. And then, you know what? I'll start doing digital marketing. And then, I'll start doing Amazon. So if you really take a step back and realize why you want to do something for yourself, that really motivates and that really pushes you. And even in shitty days, then that you want to go. So
exactly. Yeah. I was looking at my environment, and I was in a situation with a lot of pressure, with like school. And I said, yo, I'm going to do YouTube full time after this. And everyone around me was either like, A, like you're fucking stupid, or B, is that going to work? What is YouTube? Or C, what my parents did, obviously, like, hey, no, like you need to study. You're just going to study. You're going to go to university. And I wanted to prove that I didn't need to go there, but that YouTube was sufficient by making enough money. And that is not the why that you need, because then you're just doing it for others.
Exactly.
And I think now I'm doing everything, well, not like for myself, but
I mean, why doesn't necessarily have to be for yourself, right?
No,
there's when I look back at Eman, for example, why was he pushing? He dropped out when he was 16 years old. Why did he do this? He needed to make money to provide for his mother as well, because they didn't have a lot of money.
Exactly. So for people you love,
Exactly.
what you value. So I'm doing
Exactly.
it for things that I value, and that could indeed be like your loved ones, or
Anything.
it could be anything actually.
Yeah.
So that,
sure.
but that's just one of the key moments that for me. I mean, it's funny that you don't even remember it, because that's just conversations for him, and for me it was like, damn, I need to really start getting my priorities straight and just start to live life instead of focusing on all the other bullshit that's coming. Or it like, I love my parents. It makes sense, because you're just gonna say, if your son is not making enough money in the long run, and you don't really know the internet, same as like that's the generation again. That's older than
but definitely. But it's definitely something that makes sense, and it's important to really think about.
Exactly.
And I think in general, just having, doing things because you know why you're doing it. And the next thing we'll probably talk about for you someday is not being here from 9 to 11 every day, because that's also not the best thing to do.
No, that's not the best thing.
It's not the best thing. But that's the cool thing. And in turn, I'm trying to build this YouTube channel of my own. And I had been posting some videos for maybe a year or something, and then I quit, and
on and off.
And then of course you came in and say, hey, let's do this properly. So I made sure I had a cool setup. I made sure that it had a good flow to actually create videos. And then, you helped me look at the analytics, and sure, I'm not quite close to that million yet.
He is not
closer to 2,000 right now as we record this.
But that is 100% increase almost from where you started.
That's
I think
true.
You started at 1,001 point something. So I would say, it's just, there's so much. I don't want to be here and talk about how great Bob is, but
you may though.
You may though. You may though. No, but there's just so much patience there as well from you.
It's not always easy though. I for everyone out there trying to grow their YouTube, I feel your pain, because it's actually you have to. But that's, again, I now really know why I want to create that YouTube channel. So even though it's really shitty and the growth is shit, and sometimes I have a video where we both think, oh, it's going to do great.
Yeah.
And it's going to get like 70 views.
The YouTube algorithm, but this is going to be, again, an entire new podcast. So you guys get the flow of what we're going to talk about in this podcast. So that's really epic. But
just to finish my train of thoughts here, it's because I know why I'm doing this, I can keep pushing.
Yes.
If I was just thinking, oh, I do this because I want to make quick money, which a lot of people unfortunately think is a good why, which isn't, but that's a different topic. I would have quit 2 months ago.
Yeah, probably
100%.
I mean, I like this guy. He's still putting in the work, and like I said, there's patience a lot. He does sometimes say like, "Yo, there's just a rant coming out of like my WhatsApp message." I'm like, "Wait, Bob, calm down. This is just like, I know the video was great, and you followed all my tips, and it's not working. I know. Come on." Calm down. But yeah, I would say you're a perfect example of like, none of his videos yet blew up. Nothing yet. And you made, I would say, 30 videos now.
Yeah, of the new style, probably.
30 videos. And that, I mean, we're going to work on, we'll get there. 100 videos, at least 100 videos. And if you then, like, you just got to keep improving and look at the analytics. And that's just, I love analytics, so we can talk about that for an hour. But I would say, this does show what we
definitely what we'll be talking about.
That's it actually.
Goodbye. No, and I think it's this obviously is very much more of an introduction podcast.
That's why it's episode 0.
It's episode 0. We'll go much more in depth about a lot of other things, and hopefully like a lot more value, because I think the cool thing about podcasts is you can provide so much value because you can really go in depth, and that's definitely what we're going to be doing.
You can literally have a conversation about stuff that we had, which just snapped for me, which changed my mindset. And that's what I love about podcasts.
100%.
And it's going to be about everything. So you guys just need to let me know as well. And Bob, like, what do you want to see? Like I said, we're going to talk about productivity. We're going to talk about the health part. We're going to talk about gains, working out in every single aspect. So also financial gains, which I found very interesting as well. The financial world online and being smart with your money. And I'm still learning a lot about that as well.
So am I.
We
all are.
We all are.
And that's a cool thing about mindset, I think. So there's this really cool book. If you read, there's Dr. Dweck wrote a book called Mindset, and basically talks about how there's 2 types of people with a fixed mindset, like I'm happy where I'm at, I have my girlfriend or my partner, maybe kids, and that's cool. We want to grow. Or you have the growth mindset, which we both have, which means I always want to learn. I always want to improve. And hopefully, if you're listening, that's one of the reasons why you're listening, because you always want to learn and always improve. And we will definitely try and help you.
That's a great one.
In that thing.
I would say that's the aim for this podcast. Or if you just really like Bob's face, that's
fine too. Yeah.
You could be watching for that or listening for his voice, because I would say I'm actually quite lucky that it can't be a coincidence, like the Stranger Thing, but it can't be a coincidence because we have somewhat the same mindset, different generation with actually levels, which is really fun, and also his English is proper. That's
some Dutch people,
everyone in the Netherlands can speak English really well and understand it really well. But there is an accent, a thick accent most of the time. But now,
which we don't really have, which is good.
Not really, and Bob has a really
a low
voice.
Yeah.
I can also put my low voice, but that is then I'm talking I'm talking a lot less loudly. But no, I would say that's the introduction. That's episode 0.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, we're gonna ask, what is your superpower? That's going to be our question. We will answer this in one of the next episodes. The next episode for this podcast is going to be about my full YouTube journey.
Yep.
And after that, we're going to talk about Bob's full journey. But our question is, what is your superpower? And basically, if you do not know what we mean by this, it means where are you really good at? In it could be anything, actually.
Could be anything.
And I know yours. That's a really fun one. And for me, it's going to be a hard one because I am not.
you still have a week to think about it.
I have a week to think about it. But let us know in the comments. What is your superpower? Sure. That's where we're going to start. Yeah. We're going to also ask a lot of people that come on the podcast. We're going to ask them. So if you have any suggestions for people on the podcast, let us know as well. It can also be going for an episode about supplements, maybe with a professional, maybe with the two of us, our experience, personal experience, because we're both in that world. But this could also be about our YouTube revenue. This could also be
your YouTube revenue.
Yeah, you have a fun one as well.
I have a fun one as well. That's true.
You made money with YouTube, quite a decent amount, without having a monetized YouTube channel.
True.
So I found that very interesting as well. Very smart. If you're excited, let us know in the comments down below.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe for sure. And of course, don't forget this. It's a podcast. We'll have show notes and all the links to things that we discuss and to our socials and to the social of the
Bob's
podcast.
channel. Bob needs some subscribers.
Exactly. We'll be in the show notes. And
I hope you enjoyed this little nugget.
This little introduction.
This little introduction with already, I think, some value in there.
And much more in the next one, next week.
See you next week.